Hi there from me, Brent Graham, and welcome to this Stage 17 betting preview of the Tour de France. Well, what a stage we had in Stage 16. It was the 22.4 kilometer time trial, and I don't think anybody expected the sort of gaps we got. Jonas Vingegaard putting in one of the performances of all time, quite frankly, winning in 32 minutes, 36 seconds. He put 1 minute 38 into Pogacar over 22.4 kilometers. First thing that would come to mind, and Pogacar had a really poor day, but he didn't. He didn't ride badly at all. In fact, he had over a minute over third place Wout van Aert. So an unbelievable performance from Vingegaard, almost superhuman, if I can say that. And he has virtually put this race beyond doubt now. We'll take a look at the outright betting now. But an incredible performance. There were other very good rides on the day. As I said, Pogacar didn't do badly. Wout van Aert did a good ride. Balboa really impressed me with his ride coming in fourth. Simon Yates, normally fading by the stage of a Grand Tour, not looking bad at all. And René Cavagna, he certainly wasn't suited by that final climb, but he sat in the hot seat there for quite some time. Adam Yates also doing pretty well there. And Skelemos, well, I've got to say that was pretty impressive. He actually said he was going to be taking it easy on the day. But perhaps behind Vingegaard, the performance of the day was Mats Pedersen, a sprinter who now finishes ninth on a mountain time trial of the Tour de France. Unbelievable stuff. So anyway, well done to Vingegaard. It has taken the steam out of the Tour de France a little bit. I'm already limping my way to Paris financially, and now, I was really looking forward to the Pogacar battle with Vingegaard, but it's not over yet. Let's face it, it's not over yet. We'll have a quick look at the classification of the King of the Mountains before we go into the betting. Here we got Julian Ciccone. He was fastest up the climb today. It was a fascinating little subplot that him and Paulus both rode the start of the stage really slowly and saved the energy for that 2.4 kilometer climb, I think it was, or 2.9 perhaps. And they went like crazy up that. And Ciccone actually beating Paulus there by 40 seconds and taking mountain points. So Ciccone's got a 5-point lead. Vingegaard, a big runner here at 57 points. It's all a lot's going to depend on stage 17. Pogacar here at 49. Have a look at these names down below here. I can tell you these guys are not out of it, certainly mathematically. But let's have a look at the betting now. The outright betting. Jonas Vingegaard, you'll remember in the stage 16 preview, he was 8-10. I'm here on World Sports Betting site now. 1-8 Vingegaard. So very difficult to see him beat Pogacar. 8-1, 50-1, and better the balance. This is the interesting one, the King of the Mountains. It's really tricky. You've got Ciccone here at 2-1, Pogacar 9-4, Vingegaard 9-4, and then you go Wout van Aert sort of 13-1. And the reason I say this is tricky is because well, it all depends on the stage. How's the actual stage going to go? Are we going to get the break winning it, in which case Ciccone might stand a chance, or are we going to get the GC guys fighting it out? Because, and I'll just bring up this here, this is from Wikipedia, but I'm relying on its accuracy. The final climb is an out-of-category climb. It's worth 20 points. You can see here all the point rankings. We've got a couple of first-category climbs on the day and a second-category climb. So I think we've got 25 possible points if you win the first three climbs, and then you've got 20 here, but take a look, it's double points at the top. There's also time bonuses there, but I don't think they're going to be that relevant anymore given Vingegaard's lead. So the winner of that is going to get 40 points. So if we go back to those classifications, you'll see here that even if Ciccone manages to take some earlier points, he'll still be very vulnerable to any of these guys behind him, winning that final climb. Paulus, I think we can write out of this one. He's not climbing well enough at the moment. But not impossible if a Felix Gall, for example, gets into the break. Not impossible that he could, win that final climb and even win the stage. It's just going to be quite difficult for him to go into the break. It probably questions as to whether he will actually go into it. But I mean, he is 40-1. I've actually seen some 20-1 on him winning the King of the Mountains. So anyway, that's the King of the Mountains. Just a quick touch on the team classification. Not looking good for my Ineos Grenadiers. They're much bigger. Team Jumbo-Visma short as 9-10. I've seen them elsewhere, and Ineos out to 5-2. But World Sports Betting still give Ineos a good chance. They're going 7-4. The pair there. They're now 9 minutes behind Jumbo. And if tomorrow's stage goes the GC route, then I think Jumbo-Visma are pretty much going to wrap up the team competition as well. Right, let's get on to stage 17. It's an absolute beast of a stage, the Queen stage as they call it. We start off here with some sort of rolling terrain, and we get into our first Cat 1 climb, 13.4 kilometers at 5.1%. It's then straight down. We got the sprint at the bottom, and then we come up to the to another Cat 1, 19.9 kilometers at 6%. I mean, that is a tremendously long climb. And all sorts of action there. We've got very little to virtually no flat road. You'll see this then goes all the way down a long descent here, starting at 66 kilometers, sort of, 35 kilometers till we get to the next climb. It's a Cat 2, 6.6 kilometers at 7.5%. And then, we climb this absolute beast, the Col de la Luz, 28.1 kilometers at 6%. I can remember how much I enjoyed watching the battle between Pogačar and Roglic on this climb in 2020. Some incredible sort of just the camera angles and that, with some of the steepness of the mountains. It's certainly an absolute brute. I mean, 28.1 kilometers at 6%. And obviously that 6% takes into account a bit of a dip there. But the end here is incredibly hard. And we got bonus points at the top. As I said, don't expect them to be too big a factor. And look at the altitude the guys go to, 2,304 meters on altitude there. Very, very high. We've then got about a 7-kilometer dash down to the finish, 165.7 kilometers in total. So it's not a long stage, but it's absolutely brutal. Right, what's going to happen? Well, let's start off by having a look at the betting for the stage. We've got Jonas Vingegaard here. He is the 2-1 favorite. He delivered a potentially mortal blow to Pogačar today. But if there's one man we know won't lie down, it's Pogačar. He's going to come out firing. He's going to do what he can. I don't know, though, if he can take Vingegaard, who just looks in such sublime form. He's 11-4. Bookies very much favouring a general classification race, and we'll talk tactics now. Adam Yates 14-1, and we can go down from there. Let's go back to the stage profile. Then what's going to happen? Obviously, we're going to have a frantic battle to get into the break. Many potential guys looking at the stage. I can tell you, though, it'll have to be a good climber, surely, who wins the stage. I can't see anyone who's not a sort of a renowned climber. Like a guy like Ciccone could certainly do it if he has the legs. I'm not convinced he does, though. We're going to get a big battle for the break. Anyone who wants a say in the King of the Mountains, aside from the guys who might get the King of the Mountains accidentally, like Pogačar and Vingegaard, are going to have to be in this break. We're going to get some big battles out here. And the real question is then, okay, the break will eventually get clear. It'll probably go clear on this first Cat 1 climb, maybe a little bit later. But I think the break will form, when I say reasonably quickly, I don't see it forming over this flattish section here, but I think it will form possibly on this climb, or at the very latest on the next Cat 1 climb. The question is then, who does the work? Now, I was expecting Jumbo-Visma to ride hard all day on this one and wear Pogačar down, put him under a lot of pressure. But, that was when I thought he might be leading by 15 seconds or trailing even by a few seconds after the time trial. Of course, back Pogačar there. Fortunately, got my money back with the World Sports Betting Special, which is not as relevant to me on today's stage, but you can check it out there. You can get a refund on second place, terms and conditions on their website. Right, back to the tactics then. So Jumbo-Visma, do they take an aggressive approach and really go for the jugular? I mean, they're far enough ahead, though, that Vingegaard might not mind taking the risk of bringing the bonus seconds into contention for Pogačar. He might feel that he can ride him off the wheel up that final climb. So that's certainly a possibility. Other possibility is that UAE try and take the lead and force a result on this. But I'm not convinced that UAE have really got the team to chase down this break. And I think Pogačar might try something, but on the other hand, he might look to perhaps Saturday's stage to try and do some sort of an ambush or something on Vingegaard. This is going to be I think this will be a tough stage for Pogačar to get through. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he can attack and bring himself back into contention, but I doubt it somehow. So will the break stick or will it go GC? You would think that it probably will go GC. I'd definitely be leaning in that direction. And if it goes GC, it is hard to look past the top two in the betting there. But I am going to give you a little bit of an angle on that one. I'm at the stage of the Tour de France where I'm not going to be backing any favourites really at this stage. Obviously, the final sprint and that could be different. I'm just going to put a few rand down and hope I can catch a long shot. I normally catch one or two in the Tour, and I haven't got any on this particular Tour. So let's see. We'll go through my bets now. We've discussed what Jumbo will do. We don't know what they will do, but we've discussed their options. And just in terms of UAE, what are their tactics? They could ride defensively behind Jumbo, not worry so much about the stage. They can try and set up the stage. Or Pogačar could try something. I think if they really want to try something on the stage, they've got to try get Yates into the break. Now, I know that's not going to be easy because obviously Jumbo-Visma are going to be policing it. But we do have two Cat 1 climbs here, and Yates is climbing very strongly. And, I think if he's prepared to risk his podium position, which I'm not sure the team or him are willing to do, I would say that they could put a lot of pressure on Jumbo if they could get Yates into the break. But I don't see it. I think it's unfortunately a bit of an unrealistic situation. But let's get into the bets. And the first one I'm going to go for here is Sepp Kuss, the teammate, of course, of Jonas Vingegaard at 66 to 1. Now, Kuss is definitely a long shot for the stage, but the scenario where Kuss could win this is potentially if he's given, if it's sort of him, Vingegaard and Pogacar at some stage up this final climb, and Vingegaard, rather than attacking Pogacar himself, says to Kuss, you go for it. And then Pogacar would have to make the call. If he chases him down, he takes Vingegaard with him. And Kuss could then potentially get to the top first and sail down to win the stage. I don't know. I don't know. It's a 66 to 1 shot. Let's put it this way. But I do think Kuss has got a chance if it gets a little bit tactical at the end, and assuming, of course, that the break is caught. My other bets are probably going to be guys who'll have to win from the break. I'm going 0.5 unit on O'Connor at 66 to 1. He did a decent time trial. You know, he's shown up in one break and he's tried to get into others. He certainly hasn't been anything near his best, but he is one of those guys, if he does get good legs now in this third week, he's the sort of climber who could definitely win this from a break. He's very, very strong. Castro Vijay, I've had him in a few times. I'm hoping that Ineos giving him a bit of freedom here. He is climbing very well. He put in a decent time trial as well today. I'm hoping he can get into the break and perhaps do the job for Ineos and bring me back into my team competition at 80 to 1. And then I've gone for Bernal as well at 100 to 1. That's available at Sunbet, by the way. Look, Bernal has shown very little. He was off the bike the other day, and he didn't do anything in the time trial today. I'm just hoping that Bernal has something left in those legs. He's a quality climber, and I'm hoping that he sort of targeted the stage and he's going to go for it. He's 100 to 1 shot. I'd love to see him in the break. Anyway, that is the preview for stage 17. It should be an absolute crack of the stage. I can tell you what, I've got meetings in that tomorrow morning. I will be back in position. I might be half an hour behind and just record the start of the stage, but I absolutely can't wait. There's nothing is going to throw me off and not have me sitting in front of the TV for the entire afternoon. We'll be back with the stage 18 preview. That will be probably late Wednesday night or on Thursday morning. Enjoy the stage. It's going to be an absolute belter.